Now, some people will say, well, look, I knew Obama wasn't going to be able to do much anyway, and maybe he didn't even want to, but that's not the point, Brother Dix. Think of the inspiration that black youth will get from seeing a black man in the White House, from seeing a black first family. Think about what that will mean and how that will spur them to greater heights of achievement. So let's talk about that. See, and youth are getting charged up around it, but what direction do they go when they get charged up? I've had youth tell me, I wouldn't fight for George Bush, but now that Obama guy, he's smart. If he says I got to go fight, maybe I should do it. That's where some of that inspiration is taking them. But even as they take that inspiration out and try to achieve more in this society and try to move on up and do better than they had done before, what will they run into? They will run into the reality of the continuing white supremacy that's built into the very fabric of this country. They will run into the male supremacy that's out there. They will run into capitalist, imperialist America. So what will happen to those dreams? Will they be crushed to the earth? Will they dry up like a raisin in the sun? Because look, I will tell you, sisters and brothers, the doors that are open for our youth are not the doors to higher education. They're not the doors to meaningful jobs, contributing to the development of society, because it is still the case that the educational systems in the inner city schools where most black and Latino youth are underfunded. They are not geared towards success, and most of the youth in there are being tracked towards failure by the time they reach the 3rd and 4th grade. It is still the case that the jobs have been sucked out of the ghettos and barrios, and drugs have been poured in there. That's still what the youth are up against. The doors that are being opened to our youth are the doors to the courthouse, where they get treated unequally by the criminal justice system in this country. And the doors to the jailhouse, where black people are being warehoused at horrific numbers. 900,000 of the almost 2.5 million people who are in prison are black. That's a door that's open for black youth. And then there is the door to the recruiting station, to join the military, to go halfway around the world and kill people for this system, become a mindless killer for it. Those are the doors that are being opened. This is what's being offered to our youth. And I'll tell you, a system, and I'm quoting from the statement that is in the new issue of Revolution newspaper, The Revolution We Need and the Leadership We Have. There's a sentence in there that I got to read to you. A system which offers millions and millions of youth no greater purpose, no better fate than crime and punishment, or to become a mindless killing machine for the system itself, that alone is reason enough to want to sweep this system from the face of the earth through revolution. And that's the truth. See, and it isn't even just that Obama won't call out the oppression that's being brought down on black youth. It's way worse than that. It's that he's blaming the youth for the oppression that comes down on them. See, and I know people don't want to hear me say this, but he said it. And Google his Father's Day speeches this year and last year, and you will hear it. You will hear him talking about the reason our youth are having problems is because their dads aren't involved in their life. It's because their parents won't turn off the TV and make sure that they do their homework. It's because they're wearing their pants down too low. Now, we've heard this kind of shit before, only then it was a comedian, Bill Cosby, talking it to us. But now it's coming from the first black president, and that gives it greater resonance. Well, look, it was bullshit when Cosby said it, it's bullshit now. See, and let's get real particular about what happens to our youth. Let's talk about Sean Bell. See, and I want to tell you, and I'll tell Obama, I know William Bell, Sean Bell's father. I know Valerie Bell. These were not parents who were not involved in Sean's life. The problem wasn't that they didn't turn off the TV and make sure that Sean did his homework. The problem wasn't that Sean had his pants down too low or that he was into gangs and drugs. The problem was some trigger-happy cops happened on him the day of his wedding and blew him away in a hail of 50 bullets. That's what happened to that black youth. This is what our youth are up against. See, and we got to talk about the fact that it wasn't just Sean Bell. And I could give you all kinds of statistics, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to remind you of something. Because we were out organizing youth to protest when they let those cops go. The slogan that the youth really got into and really took up was one that said, "We are all Sean Bell, the whole damn system is guilty." Youth were wearing stickers. Youth carried signs. Youth made T-shirts that said that. See, now, we got to actually get, what's the significance of that? Why were the youth saying we are all Sean Bell? Because they all felt that just like Sean, they could be blown away by trigger-happy cops too. And the cops could get away with it. They knew, in a certain intuitive sense, that they were living their lives under a death sentence. A death sentence that may or may not be carried out, but was real just the same. See, now, this should break your heart to hear about this and to know about that. It should make you angry. But then you got to move from being angry. You got to go forward. And going forward is a question, like I read in that quote, of sweeping this system off the face of the earth. Because just that would be enough to do it, but that ain't the only thing. There's the wars for empire. There's the torture. There's the indefinite detention. There is the way in which women are treated as breeders of children, not as full human beings, subjected to rape and domestic violence. There's the way the environment is being spoiled. You know, the very planet that we're living on is being ripped apart in the chase after profit by this imperialist system. There's the disease, the starvation, and the misery that this system inflicts on people. There's all kinds of reasons to want to get rid of this system. See, and in that context, it is especially criminal to get sucked back into this system because there's a black person presiding over the crimes that it's carrying out. Because look, here is the deal. Obama's problem is that this system is deep in trouble, and his mission is to save that system. Our problem is this system. We don't need to see it saved. In fact, we need to see it ended through revolution.